Hello dear student, I am Regina R. Sebastian. I will be teaching you programming with C++ from your paper Digital Electronics and Computer Science. In this chapter, you will learn how to write a program in C++. In this chapter, you will learn something you already know. All the logics used here and the discussed here are already similar to you and you're familiar with that and also used in your daily life. You just need to get acquainted with some of the jargons, symbols used and also the methods used in writing the program. Therefore, welcome to the chapter Programming with C++. In this chapter, we will be learning an introduction on C++, some built-in features in C++ which allow us to do program with ease, some of the input and output features which allows us to get input and also give output from the compiler, some of the data types, that is the types of data in which we can give input to the compiler and get output from. For example, it can be a number, it can be a name, etc. Different data types which is used. We will discuss about operators, or specifically mathematical operators that is used to perform mathematical function in a program. We will learn about conditional statements. These statements allow the program to make logical decisions. Then we will learn some user-defined functions. How to define a function, how to call a function, what is a function, all these we'll learn. And by the end, we will learn about arrays, classes, pointers, objects, files, etc. C++ is a program which is developed in Bell Labs in 1983. It is an advanced version of C. We have an advanced version for C++ also, that is C#. This is a widely used program, mainly in software developing and video games designing. In this video, we will be learning some features, some important features of C++, the structure of a C++ program. We will also learn how to write a simple program and also how to we will learn how to compile and run a program. Now, what are the features of a C++ program? C++ program is object-oriented, it is platform-independent, it is simple, it is a high-level programming language, it is popular, it is case-sensitive, it is compiler-based, it has dynamic memory allocation, it has existence of libraries. It also have a good speed, a compiling speed. Now, what is an object-oriented program? The first feature was C++ is an object-oriented program. There are two types of program, that is procedural-oriented and object-oriented. Procedural-oriented program give more importance to the procedures to be followed or the steps to be followed to execute a program, while an object-oriented program like C++ give more importance to the functions and the data to be used. For example, it give more importance to the objects to be used. For example, we take an object, say Regina. Regina is an object and this object belongs to a class, she is a human. And this object has certain properties such as her behavior, her appearance, her address. This object has certain methods to collect data from that object. You can even send a mail, you can verify with that person or you can contact that person on WhatsApp. There is methods in which you can abstract data from that object. This is the way in which a C++ program works. The C++ program identifies every data as an object. It will classify the object and the data encapsulated and then it will study and analyze the properties in it. While a procedural program will take care of the step-by-step computation which is given in the program. So we have to write everything in a step-by-step manner. This is some of the features of an object-oriented programming. We say that there is an object. That object belongs to a class, and that class will have an inheritance. We have already discussed what is an object. Now this object belongs to a class. I said Regina belongs to a class human. Now this third property is inheritance. What is inheritance? We inherit some of the properties of our parents, right? So the word inheritance means acquiring some of the properties from a parent class. Regina is not just a human. She is a woman, she is a teacher, she is a faculty of XII. So all the attributes which is in the class human will go to the subclass women. Now again all the attributes in the subclass women will again go to the subclass teacher. Therefore, the Regina, the class human or the class women inherit all the properties that is in the class human. The class teacher inherit the properties of the class women and a human. So in this way, now in a C++ program, the program is defined as classes and subclasses so that we can effectively encapsulate more data in a good manner. The next is polymorphism. The term poly means many, morphism means forms. There are many forms in which we can abstract, we can use input and get output data. We can get many forms, like you can extract an integer, you can extract a number, a word, anything. In many forms you can do that. Now abstraction of data. This is a way in which this is a method of collecting the data. And the last one is encapsulation. Encapsulation just means that the collected data is put into order. All the collected data will be in random order. Some of the collected data will have some similar features, so they are put together, and in this way they are encapsulated and locked. The second feature of C++ program is that it is platform independent, or it is portable. Suppose I am doing a program in Linux, then I can compile the program in Linux, save the file with a name .cpp. Then I can port it into Windows or Mac, anywhere possible, and I can run the same program. You doesn't need the same device or the same operating system to run or write a C++ program. It is highly portable. The next features are: it is simple, it is popular, powerful, it has speed. The next feature is a very important feature. It is a high-level programming language. A high-level programming language means that language is both readable by a human and a computer. It replicates a human wording, such as cout means giving character output, cin means character input, such that this program is readable by a human. Therefore, this high-level programming language means the programming language is more similar to the human language. Next feature is the program is case sensitive. You have to write everything in the specified case itself. If not, it will show an error. Almost all the cases used in a C++ program is lower case, so you can't interchange it with a higher case. The next feature is that the C++ program is a compiler-based program. Now, what is a compiler-based program? There are two types of programs, that is interpreter-based programs and compiler-based programs. The function of both a compiler and an interpreter is conversion of a high-level programming language into a machine language. As I have already said, a high-level programming language will be similar to the human language. Now, a machine language is binary language. It is written in zeros and ones. So, the use of a compiler or an interpreter is that they will convert a high-level programming language into a machine language. Now, what is the difference? A compiler compiles all the program at once and show all the errors at once. That is, when we write a program and it has 3 errors, compiler will show all the 3 errors at once. But as in the interpreter, it will show error only if it starts running. Interpreter will run the first line. If it is error free, it will run the first line. Then it will come to the second line. If it has an error, then the interpreter stops working and shows the error. When we fix that error, the interpreter will continue running to the third line, and if that third line also has an error, interpreter again stops and shows the error. On the other hand, in compiler, the compiler shows all the errors at once so that we can fix all the errors and run. This will increase the pace of running the program. In interpreter-based program, we have to sit with the program while it is running, while in compiler, once all the errors are fixed, the running will be smooth and it is fast flowing. The next important feature is dynamic memory allocation. We know it doesn't need as much memory to store an integer than to store a character. For example, to store a number 2, you just need some bits, and to store your phone number, you must need a byte of memory. So the memory which is needed for every set of data will be different. You don't need a large memory to store a 2-digit number. On the other hand, you need a large memory to store some words or some matrices or anything. So, this C++ program allows us to allocate memory to data in the way it is needed. If a data needs only a small amount of memory, we can allocate a small amount of memory. If it needs a large amount of memory, we can allocate a large amount of memory. And this way, we can effectively distribute our memory. And this is called dynamic memory allocation. We can allocate how much memory is to be used or is to be provided for one particular data. Next is library files. C++ program has a lot of library files. Now, what is a library? Library has a lot of books for our references. We just walk into the library, collect that one particular book which we need and walk out. We don't collect all the book from the library and keep it with us. We just go and collect that book which is needed. And this is the purpose of library files also. Library files have some of the predefined functions or programs, and it is very important to be stored so that there is a smooth running of a program. We can choose the predefined functions or programs which is needed to run some particular files, some particular programs. if we have written a program and we need some predefined programs to allocate into that, we will choose that particular file only. One of an important library file is IO stream, which is input output stream, which is commonly used in almost all the programs because we need to get we give some input and we need to get some output. This input output stream, this library contains programs which will allow us to take input and give output. So again, a recap: the features of the C++ program are: it is an object-oriented program, that is, it gives importance to the data and the features and the functions. It will give importance, it will focus more on the data and the function. It is platform independent, that is, I can write a program in Windows and port it to Linux, and whatever it will be very smooth and it is portable. Now the language is simple. Language is a high level language, means that it resembles more to the human language. The language is popular. The language is case sensitive. The language is compiler based. That is, it uses a compiler. It shows all the errors at once, and this increases the speed of running a program. This language, C++, use dynamic memory allocation. That is, it allocates the memory which is just needed for that data. Nothing more and nothing less. It has library files which makes program writing an easy task. This library files will give you some of the predefined program, pre-written program, so that you don't need to write it again. So this library files will make your task very, very easy. Again, I have discussed it is a compiler based program, so the running speed of the C++ is very high. Now, we will learn what is the structure of a C++ program. The basic structure of a C++ program is, it has a standard library section, it has a main function section, it has a function body section. Okay, in standard library, we define what all library files that is to be used in this program. I've already said we have a load of library files. We will choose only those files which is needed to run this particular program. And the first two lines are the standard library section, and in this #include. #include is a preprocessor which says the compiler to include the library file which is given inside that angular braces. So here it is IO stream. So it tells the compiler, #include tells the compiler to include the library file IO stream into this particular program. The second line, using namespace standard. This tells the compiler that every name and space used in this program are according to the standard basis. For example, we have used here cout and l. Cout and l are already defined as a words and spaces in the standard namespace file, such that cout is meant to give output and l is meant to end a line and start a new line. So in standard library file, we will call all the libraries which is important to run a program. In this section, we will also introduce, if there is some predefined function which is needed, we will call upon that function also. In the second set, that is main function section. In main function section, we have written, you can see it as int main, then a parenthesis, then a curve braces. Int main, int means integer. Main, this is the main function, so it is denoted by main, and it has a particular writing style. This is a particular writing style. Here int denotes the return value of the function, and which means that the function, when terminates, it returns a value to the main, and that return value is to be an integer. If we can also use main, we can use void main, float main according to the return value to be used. You have to give all the brackets in pairs. See that the curved braces is in pairs and the parenthesis is in pairs. The open curved braces opens the block, and the closed curved braces in the last line close the block. And this is the main function. Inside the main function, which comes the function body. Here the function body is cout, the angular brackets, inside that hello world, again angular bracket, and L semicolon. You must give a notice that we have used semicolon to end some lines here, such as using namespace standard and L and return 0. This is the way in which we write a C++ program. Okay, now coming to the function body, cout. Cout is a command which is given to the compiler to output what is given inside the angular braces. Here inside the angular braces, inside the double quotes, we have hello world exclamation. This means that when something is inside a double quote, it just means that the compiler needs to give an output exactly in the same it is written. For example, here the compiler gives an output as capital H E L L O space capital W O R L D space and exclamation mark, exactly in the way it is written inside the double quotes. Then again we have written cout and L. Now the compiler will not print and L as it is. E and D L won't be there in the output because it is not inside the double quotes. Except on the other hand, and L is a command which is given to the compiler that you have to end that line with hello world exclamation and start a new line. The last line, return 0. This is the step in which the program terminates. The program returns back the value 0 to the main function and the program terminates. So dear student, so far we have learned what are the features of a C++ program and what is the structure of a C++ program. Now we will learn how to write, compile and run a C++ program. In my system, I have a compiler DEV C++. This is an initial compiler. Thus go well with your syllabus, and the codes used here are well similar with the codes which is in your reference text. So I will go with this compiler. I recommend all of you to download this compiler to run and see how your programs run. And while learning C++, it is very important for you to practice the code running and writing codes, so that you will get well acquainted with how to write a code, how to run a code, etc. So that in practical classes also you can shine. And also there are many compilers which are available online. You can compile online even without downloading a compiler. So you can try that also. Well, this is a very good compiler. We can start writing a program. What if we write the same program hello world itself and see how it comes? Hash include. This is hash include is a preprocessor. This asks the compiler to include the library file which come inside this braces. the angular braces. I want to include IO stream library file, the input output stream. This is very important for giving output, getting output and giving input. Now next we will include using. Using was automatically broadened. Name space standard. At this line I am telling the compiler that whatever name and space I am using in this program is according to the standard basis, such as cout, entel or cin. All those names are used in the same way it is meant to be. Now this is the end of the library section. Now I move on to the main section. In section I type int main and a parenthesis. Here you can see whenever I type a bracket it comes in pairs. In C++ it is very important that when you open a braces you need to close that also. Okay, so they come in pairs so that you don't make. Now I open a curly braces and here we come to the function section, and in function part I need to output cout, give an output cout and two angular symbols that it is giving out. This indicates it's giving out. I'm getting double quotes here. It also came in pairs. Hello world. I'm doing a double quotes because I want it to be printed in the same way I am typing. Hello world space exclamation return we have done the program. Let's see, compile it and see if there are any errors. I have to save this. Hello. There are no errors. See here there is 0 errors and 0 warnings. So I can easily run the program and here comes hello world. Now let us try changing some of the programs and see what happens. What if I cout and no errors. Oh, hello world came out to be that. Now start another source file. Let's try with another program. I want to include IO stream as a library file. I am using standard spaces. My main is an integer main. I can also use a void main or anything else, a float main. Here I cout and L. Get a line in front. I'll try to get it. Then I'll cout, say something others like maybe my name is if there are any errors. I have to save this also, say and I have a space here. The space came from this L. Okay, again I run the program, I have a space here and this space came from the and L. Now let's see what happens if I don't give this line using namespace standard and try to compile the program. Now it shows a lot of errors. And the error mainly say that cout is not declared in the scope and also end L is not declared. So the purpose of this line using namespace standard was actually declaring all the standard terms which comes in here. Compile again, no errors, run the program. Yes, here we go. In today's lecture, we have learned what an introduction to C++, what are the features of C++, how cool the language it is, and we have learned the basic structure of a C++ program, and also we have learned how to write a simple program and compile and run it. See you in the next video. Thank you.